I swear, if we land this account, drinks are on me, Ryan laughed, clapping my shoulder as we stepped out of the office elevator. I smirked. You said the same thing last time, and somehow I ended up paying. He grinned. Details, details. You make more than me anyway, boss. Barely, I said, shaking my head. But fine, next win's on you. My phone buzzed. Emma's name flashed on the screen. My fiancée. I answered immediately. Hey, beautiful. Heading home soon? Her voice was soft, hurried. Yeah, just running a few errands. Don't wait up for dinner, okay? Again? I frowned. You've been out late a lot lately. There was a pause. It's just work, love. The new project's a mess. All right, I sighed. Don't overwork yourself. I won't. Love you, she said quickly, then hung up. Ryan raised a brow. She's been busy, huh? Yeah, I said, forcing a smile. She's dedicated. Must be nice, he chuckled. Someone actually caring about their job. I ignored the tone and headed toward my car. The sunset painted the parking lot gold, the kind of evening that used to make me feel lucky. Good job, great woman, loyal friend. Everything felt steady. That night, I reached home to the faint scent of her perfume lingering in the hallway. The lights were dim, her shoes by the door. She must have just left again. I reheated leftovers, opened my laptop, and scrolled through emails. Routine, predictable, comfortable. At least that's what I told myself. When she came back near midnight, she looked exhausted. I walked to the door, smiling. You're finally home, she jumped slightly. Oh, hey. I didn't think you'd still be up. I couldn't sleep. You okay? Yeah, just tired. She dropped her bag, avoiding my eyes. You smell like coffee and cologne. I said half jokingly. She laughed too quickly. Office air freshener. You know how strong that stuff is. Right. I chuckled softly, pretending not to notice her trembling hands. We sat together for a while. She leaned on me, scrolling through her phone. I glanced at her lock screen. A new wallpaper, a skyline photo I didn't recognize. Where's the picture of us? I asked lightly. Oh, that one? I changed it a few days ago. Just wanted something fresh. Got it. I smiled, though something in me twisted. The next morning, Ryan texted me early. Big presentation today. Bring coffee or I'm quitting, I replied, on it. Don't mess up your slides again. As I grabbed my keys, Emma walked out of the bedroom in a rush. Leaving early? Yeah, Ryan wants to run over the numbers. She froze for a second, then smiled. You two make a great team. Yeah, I said quietly. We really do. She kissed my cheek before leaving. Her lipstick left a faint mark, but her scent faded faster. I watched her go, my chest tightening for reasons I couldn't name. If only I'd looked closer. I thought later that night, staring at the ceiling. I'd have seen the cracks before everything fell apart. The dinner dragged on longer than expected. My colleagues laughed, glasses clinked, but I wasn't there, not really. My mind kept wandering to Emma. She'd texted earlier, don't wait up. I smiled to myself, whispering, maybe I'll surprise her. Heading out early? My manager asked. Yeah, I said, standing. Emma's been working late a lot. Thought I'd bring her dinner. Good man, he said. Keep that one happy. I nodded, grabbing my coat, completely unaware of the storm waiting at home. The elevator ride felt endless. I rehearsed how she'd smile when I walked in, maybe roll her eyes at my sudden romantic gesture. I even stopped to buy her favorite pasta on the way. When I reached the apartment, the lights were on. Music played faintly. My heart lifted. She's home early. I unlocked the door quietly, grinning. Emma, guess who? The words froze in my throat, her voice breathless. A low laugh. A sound I'd never forget. I stepped forward. The bag dropped from my hand, spilling food across the floor. There they were. Emma, half-dressed, eyes wide. Ryan, standing behind her, shirt unbuttoned, his face pale for the first time since I'd known him. James, she whispered, covering herself. This isn't, don't, I said softly. My voice didn't even sound like mine. Ryan took a step forward. Listen, man, it just happened. We didn't mean, I laughed, but it came out cracked. Didn't mean? You didn't mean to sleep with my fiancé. Please, Emma cried. It's not what it looks like. I stared at her. Really? Because it looks exactly like betrayal. Tears streamed down her face. It was one mistake. I swear, James, I love you. Love? I whispered. Is that what you call this? Ryan raised his hands defensively. Don't make this bigger than it is, all right? We were drunk, emotional. I turned to him, my chest tightening. You were my best friend, Ryan. He looked away. It's complicated. Complicated, I said slowly. You're in my apartment with my fiancé, and you call that complicated? Emma reached for me. Please, just let me explain. Explain what? I asked, stepping back. That all those late nights weren't work? That the perfume I smelled wasn't mine? She sobbed. It was a mistake. I didn't want to hurt you. Then why did you? I asked quietly. Why him? Her lips trembled. I don't know, I felt... Unseen, Ryan scoffed. Emma, don't... Shut up, I snapped. You don't get to speak. He froze, jaw clenched. The silence that followed was heavier than any words. I looked at her, the woman I was ready to marry. Every memory, every smile, every whispered I love you, it all collapsed. James, please, she said again, voice breaking. Don't walk out like this. But I was already moving toward the door. Don't you dare leave. Ryan barked. I turned, meeting his eyes. You already did. The door slammed behind me, echoing down the hall. My hands shook. My chest burned. Outside, the night air hit me like ice. The city lights blurred through tears I didn't want to admit were falling. That night, something inside me died quietly. And something else was born. I didn't sleep that night, or the one after. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. Their faces, their voices, their excuses. My phone buzzed endlessly. Messages from Emma, missed calls from Ryan. I stared at the screen until the names blurred. Then I turned it off. 3 days later, Mom called. James, honey, are you okay? You sound off. I'm fine, Mom. You don't sound fine. I'm just tired. Work's been crazy. Work? She asked softly. Or something else? I forced a laugh. You worry too much. Everything's okay. There was a pause. You always say that when everything isn't. I'll visit soon, all right? I'll hold you to that, she said quietly. Don't lose yourself in whatever this is. When the call ended, silence filled the room again. The apartment still smelled like her perfume. I grabbed her things, hairbrush, sweater, coffee mug, and stuffed them into a box. It wasn't enough. Her ghost lingered in every corner. At work, people whispered before I even entered the room. Did you hear? Apparently, he walked in on them. No way. With Ryan? I walked past, pretending not to hear. Ryan stood by the copier, looking too calm. Hey, man, I stopped. You've got some nerve talking to me, he shrugged. We still work in the same place. Then stay out of my way, he smirked. It's not personal, James. Things just happen. Right, I said. Sleeping with your best friend's fiancé just happens. His smirk faded, but he didn't respond. I walked off before I did something I'd regret. Later that day, Emma came by the office. Her eyes were swollen, voice trembling. James, please. Just hear me out. There's nothing to hear. I can't stand how things ended. Then you should have thought of that before you made your choice. I made a mistake, she whispered. You made several. She stepped closer. Can't we talk in private? I backed away. Not here. Not ever. Her lip quivered. You're being cruel, I laughed bitterly. Cruel? No, Emma. You taught me how to be that. When she left, every eye in the office was on me. I didn't care anymore. That night, I sat at my desk, staring at my reflection in the dark window. I barely recognized the man looking back. Tired eyes, clenched jaw, empty stare. I whispered to the glass, You really let them break you, didn't you? The silence answered. I realized I couldn't keep drowning in their betrayal. No amount of pain or pity would fix me. I had to rebuild, piece by piece, not for her. Not for them. For me. I turned my phone back on, deleted every message from both of them, and finally let out a shaky breath. That night, I didn't sleep. But for the first time, I wasn't haunted. I was planning. The office was chaos the morning the news broke. Did you hear? Lena whispered as I walked in. The CEO, he resigned. Something about an internal audit, I frowned. You're kidding, she shook her head. Half the board's in emergency meetings. Everyone's panicking. I walked to my desk, pretending not to care. But inside, something stirred. Curiosity, maybe even hope. Ryan sauntered over, smirking. Guess the big man finally cracked. Told you this place was falling apart. Maybe, I said flatly. He leaned closer. You should relax, James. Let the higher-ups handle the fire. Funny, I replied. You always liked watching other people burn, he scowled. Still bitter? I didn't answer. He walked off, muttering under his breath. 2 hours later, my manager called. James, boardroom, now! My heart kicked. Inside, the director sat in tense silence. Mr. Cole, calm, sharp-eyed, gestured to a seat. Mr. Hale, he said. You've been with us 5 years? Yes, sir. Your department's numbers haven't just held steady. They've grown despite the leadership mess. Impressive. Thank you, I said, cautious. He exchanged looks with the others. We're appointing an interim project lead. Ryan was in line, but after reviewing recent performance, he paused, watching my reaction. We're giving it to you, I blinked. Me? Yes, temporary for now. But if you handle the merger project well, it could be permanent. I nodded slowly. Understood. Ryan's face when he heard the news was priceless. He cornered me near the break room. You think you earned that? He spat. I didn't think about you at all, I said. Maybe that's the difference. He laughed bitterly. You'll crash and burn. You always do. Then I'll enjoy the fire, I said, brushing past him. From that day, I lived at the office. Late nights, cold coffee, empty takeout boxes, I stopped caring about anything except results. Mr. Cole began dropping by often. You remind me of a younger me, he said once, glancing at my reports. Is that good or bad? I asked. He smiled. Depends how much you're willing to sacrifice. Everything, I said quietly. He studied me. Then you'll rise faster than you think. Weeks passed. The numbers climbed, the chaos settled, and my team started looking to me for direction. I saw Ryan's frustration every time I led a meeting he wasn't invited to. I saw Emma's guilt when she crossed paths with me in the corridor, head down, eyes full of something between shame and regret. I didn't speak to either of them. I didn't need to. My silence said enough. One evening, Mr. Cole stopped by my office. Board's impressed. Keep this pace and that chair might be yours soon. Appreciate it, sir. As he left, I looked out the window, city lights flickering below. For the first time in months, I felt something close to peace. Power was shifting. And this time, it was mine. The first message came at 11:47 p.m. Emma, can we talk? Please. I stared at the screen, the words blurring against the glow of my phone. I didn't reply. The next night, another one. Emma. I made a mistake, James. I just need 5 minutes. I locked my phone and went back to reviewing reports. Work was cleaner than emotions. Numbers never lied. Days passed before she finally appeared. I was in my office, buried in emails, when Lena's voice buzzed through the intercom. James, Emma's here. She says it's important. I froze for a heartbeat. Then I said, tell her I'm in a meeting. She looks bad, Lena hesitated. Should I send her home? But Emma didn't leave. A knock followed seconds later. Then the door opened. James, please, she said softly. I didn't look up. You shouldn't be here. I just want to talk. Her voice cracked. 5 minutes, that's all. 5 minutes won't change what happened. She took a shaky breath. I know, I can't sleep. I keep thinking about that night. About you. I leaned back in my chair, finally meeting her eyes. They were red, tired, haunted. Funny, I used to lose sleep over you too. Please don't talk like that, she whispered. You're angry, I understand, but no, I interrupted. You don't understand. You didn't just betray me, Emma. You buried the person I used to be. She flinched, tears forming. I was stupid. Ryan, he said things, I cut her off. Don't say his name in my office. Her lip trembled. I never stopped caring about you. I laughed, low and bitter. You cared enough to ruin me. That's not fair. It's true. She fell silent. I could see her searching for words, but nothing came. Just that trembling breath. The kind that sounds like someone breaking quietly inside. You've changed, she finally whispered. I stood, walking around my desk until we were face to face. You made sure I would. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Two strangers sharing the same past. She wiped her eyes. I wish I could undo it. You can't. Her voice cracked again. Do you hate me? I hesitated, then said, No. Hate means I still feel something. She covered her mouth as if the words hit harder than she expected. Then she turned and left. Through the glass wall of my office, I watched her collapse outside, shoulders shaking, hands covering her face. People passed, pretending not to notice. Lena glanced at me from her desk, uncertain. Should I? No, I said. Let her go. For a long time, I just stood there, watching her cry through the glass. Once I would have rushed to hold her. Now, I felt nothing at all. The email came early Monday morning. Subject, Department Restructure. Effective. Immediately. When I opened it, my name sat in bold beneath the new hierarchy, Head of Operations and Strategy. Both Emma's and Ryan's departments now reported to me. I leaned back, staring at the screen. So this is what karma looks like, I muttered. Mr. Cole stopped by a few minutes later. Congratulations, James, he said, smiling. You've earned this. Didn't think I'd be managing them, I admitted. He shrugged. Poetic, isn't it? Let results speak louder than revenge. Revenge is louder, I said quietly. It just echoes longer. The following week was chaos. Ryan strutted into the meeting room late as usual. Emma followed, avoiding my eyes. I started the presentation. Let's review last quarter's numbers. Ryan, your team's latest projections. He cleared his throat, trying to sound confident. We're still negotiating the Steelman account. Just minor delays. Minor? I raised an eyebrow. The deal's been pending for 6 months. That's not minor, that's mismanagement. His jaw tightened. We had complications. Complications don't excuse losses, I cut in. We're talking about a failed $3.2 million contract. A tense silence filled the room. Even the interns froze. Ryan forced a laugh. Come on, James, we all know how unpredictable clients can be. I clicked to the next slide. Actually, I spoke to Steelman myself. They said your follow-ups were inconsistent. His smile faded. You went behind my back? I met his glare. I went after results. Mr. Cole nodded approvingly from the end of the table. Efficiency over ego. I like that. Ryan's fists clenched under the table. Maybe you should have stayed in your lane. My lane, I said, leaning forward, is wherever the company needs leadership. You remember leadership, right? The air thickened. Emma's hands trembled as she flipped through her notes. Let's stay professional, she whispered. Ryan scoffed. Easy for you to say. You're not the one being cornered. I gave a dry smile. You're not cornered, Ryan. You're just out of moves. The board members exchanged looks, the silent kind that decide fates. After the meeting, Ryan stormed past me, muttering, This isn't over. It already is, I replied. Later that evening, Emma appeared at my office door. You didn't have to humiliate him. He humiliated himself, I said. He's struggling, she pressed. We all are. Maybe he should have thought of that before playing games with people's trust. Her eyes softened. You've changed so much, James. You're colder now. Colder, I repeated. Or clearer. She hesitated. I just miss who you were. I looked at her for a long moment. The man you missed died the night you lied. Her breath caught. She turned away, whispering, I'm sorry. Save it, I said. Apologies don't rebuild what's already burned. When she left, the silence in my office felt heavy. Not peaceful, not triumphant. Just empty. I stared at the glass walls where her reflection had vanished and whispered to myself, maybe I'm not winning. Maybe I'm just becoming them. Still, when the next morning's reports came in with record gains, I smiled anyway. Karma wasn't fast, but it was precise. James, close the door, Mr. Cole said as I stepped into his office. His tone was calm, but there was a weight to it, the kind that meant change. I sat down. You sound serious. What's going on? He folded his hands. The board has decided to move forward with the merger, and they want someone steady, someone who's proven himself under pressure. I frowned. You mean, he smiled, they want you as the new CEO. For a moment, everything went silent, like the world had paused just to let the words sink in. Me? I whispered. Sir, You earned this, James, he interrupted. Not because of sympathy, not because of politics. You turned the company around when others failed. You've earned every bit of this. I tried to steady my breathing. I don't know what to say. Say yes, he said, chuckling softly. And make me proud before I retire. The handshake felt heavier than it should have. Years of loyalty, pain, betrayal, all of it had led here. When I left his office, people nodded respectfully. The same people who once looked at me with pity now avoided my eyes out of quiet awe. I walked through the halls that used to echo with my self-doubt and thought, so this is what power feels like. Calm, silent, undeniable. That night, I stood on my balcony with a glass in my hand. The city stretched beneath me like a living thing. The lights shimmered like old promises, bright, fragile, fleeting. My phone buzzed. Emma. I almost ignored it, but something inside me hesitated. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe closure, I answered. What do you want? Her voice cracked. Can we talk, please? Just once. There's nothing left to talk about, Emma. There is, she insisted. I need to tell you something. You deserve to know, I laughed quietly. Now you care what I deserve? I never stopped caring, she whispered. I just made the worst mistake of my life. I sighed, staring at the skyline. You made many mistakes. But fine, talk. Not like this, she said quickly. In person. Just one meeting. After that, if you want me gone, I'll never call again. Her voice trembled the way it used to when she'd beg me to stay after an argument. Fragile, desperate, human. I hesitated. Every part of me screamed no. But curiosity, that quiet poison. One, tomorrow night, I said flatly. Public place. No scenes, she exhaled shakily. Thank you, James, you won't regret it. I ended the call and stared at my reflection in the glass door. The man looking back at me was a stranger, colder, sharper, untouchable. Won't regret it, I muttered. We'll see. As the wind brushed past, the city lights seemed to whisper back, You're not the same man anymore, and I wasn't. The cafe was almost empty when I walked in. The soft hum of music barely filled the silence. I spotted her instantly, sitting by the window, hands clenched around a coffee cup that had already gone cold. She looked up as I approached. You came, she whispered. I said I would. I sat down across from her. So what's this about? Her voice shook. I didn't think you'd actually show up. Curiosity, I said flatly. Now talk. She swallowed hard. Ryan's gone, I raised an eyebrow. Gone. He left, she said, staring down. He used me. Promised we'd build something together after he got the promotion. But when he didn't get it, he walked away, no calls. No goodbye, I leaned back. You sound surprised. Tears welled in her eyes. I was stupid, James. I thought that betraying me would somehow get you happiness. Her lips quivered. No, I thought it would make things easier. You were always working, always distant. He made me feel noticed, I laughed bitterly. So you traded loyalty for attention. How'd that work out? Don't, she said quietly. Please don't make this harder. I'm not making it anything, I replied. You did all of this yourself. She looked up, eyes red. You don't understand how much I regret it. Every day since that night, I've hated myself. Good, I said coldly. At least now you know how it feels to lose everything that mattered. I lost you, she whispered. And that's what hurts most. I studied her for a long moment. The same face I once thought I'd wake up next to for the rest of my life. She looked smaller somehow, fragile, almost hollow. I'm broke, she confessed. He drained my savings. I've been trying to find work, but no one trusts me. I thought maybe you could help you, I interrupted. Is that what this is? No, she said quickly. Not like that. I don't want money. Her voice cracked. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Truly sorry. I ruined us. The silence that followed felt heavier than any words could. I looked at her trembling hands, the coffee cup shaking slightly, and realized there was nothing left inside me. No anger, no warmth, no love. Just emptiness. Emma, I said finally, my voice quiet but firm. You didn't just lose me. You lost the version of me who would have forgiven you. She froze, her breath catching in her throat. Please, she whispered, don't go. I stood up slowly. You wanted freedom? This is what it looks like. tears slipped down her cheeks. I just wanted another chance. Chances, I said, turning toward the door, aren't owed. They're earned. And you spent yours. As I walked out, her soft sobs followed me, fading with every step. Outside, the air felt cleaner, colder. For the first time in months, I didn't look back. The boardroom shimmered under the bright ceiling lights. Rows of executives filled the long glass table, murmuring with anticipation. My heart beat slow, steady, not with nerves but with quiet certainty. Mr. Cole cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "after months of careful evaluation during the merger, the board has made its final decision on who will lead this company into its next chapter." A pause. The air thickened. He turned toward me. Effective immediately, James Carter will serve as Chief Executive Officer. The applause hit like a wave, sharp, loud, relentless. I stood slowly buttoning my jacket. Cameras flashed. People clapped harder. Ryan froze 2 seats away, his smile fading into disbelief. Emma's face turned pale, her fingers tightening around the folder in her lap. "Say a few words," Mr. Cole urged. I walked to the front of the room, my footsteps echoing against the polished floor. The podium felt cool under my palms. "Thank you," I began. "This company has been more than just a workplace for me. It's been a battlefield, a teacher, and at times a mirror. Every success, every failure shaped me into who I am today." Someone from the board nodded approvingly. "I won't promise perfection," I continued, "but I will promise progress, the kind that's earned, not handed out. Together we'll rebuild this place stronger than ever." Applause followed again. I smiled for the cameras, shook hands, even laughed when someone toasted my promotion. But beneath the applause, my mind stayed cold, detached. When I finally returned to my seat, Ryan leaned toward me. His voice was tight. "You've got to be kidding me." "Believe it," I said calmly. "I told you results matter more than arrogance," he scoffed. "You think this makes you better than me?" "No," I said, turning my gaze toward the window. "It just makes me in charge." Across the table, Emma's eyes glistened. She whispered, "Congratulations." "Thanks," I said evenly. "Didn't expect to see you here." "I was transferred to corporate relations," she murmured. "Guess that means I'll be reporting to you now." I nodded. "Looks like it," she lowered her gaze. "James, Not now," I interrupted. "We're at work." Mr. Cole clapped me on the back. "Enjoy the moment, son." "You've earned it," I forced a smile. "I will." But as the crowd lingered and photographers clicked away, I felt strangely hollow. The room was full of faces that once looked down on me, now eager to shake my hand. Power had a funny way of rewriting history. When the applause finally faded, I looked at the reflection in the glass wall. My own face, calm and unreadable. I didn't win to impress them, I thought. I won to prove to myself that I could survive, and now I controlled not just the company, but the futures of the 2 people who once destroyed mine. The report landed on my desk early Monday morning. Ryan's latest project had tanked again. Numbers bled red across the page. I buzzed my assistant. "Send Ryan in." He entered a minute later, jaw tight, tie crooked, eyes already defensive.
"You wanted to see me?"
I gestured to the chair. "Sit." He stayed standing. "If this is about the Northern deal, it is," I said evenly. "We lost it. Again." He rolled his eyes. "They were indecisive." "You know how clients are?" I leaned back. "Clients are indecisive." "Leaders aren't," his mouth twisted. "You think you're perfect now?" "You've changed, James." "Maybe," I said. "But at least I deliver results." He slammed a file on my desk. "You love this, don't you? Watching me fall?" I looked straight at him. "You did that all by yourself." His fists clenched. "I built this company with you." "No," I said quietly. "You built it on me." For a second, he said nothing. Then he gave a bitter laugh. "So what now? You fire me?" "No," I replied. "HR will handle your demotion. Effective immediately." His face drained of color. "You can't—" "I just did." He turned sharply, muttering under his breath as he stormed out. The door slammed behind him, the sound echoing like closure. Minutes later, another knock. Softer this time. "Come in," I said. Emma stepped inside, holding a single sheet of paper. Her hands trembled slightly. "It's my resignation," she said. "I think it's time." I reached for the document, scanned it once, then signed at the bottom without hesitation. She watched me. That's it? That's it, her voice cracked. No words? No goodbye? I met her gaze. You already had your goodbye, Emma, you just didn't know it. She took a shaky breath. I thought leaving would hurt you. I nodded slowly. Once, maybe. Not anymore. Her eyes glistened. You really don't care, do you? I did, I said. But you used that against me. For a long moment, silence stretched between us, heavy, familiar, final. She looked down, whispering, I'm sorry. I didn't answer. She lingered by the door like she was waiting for me to stop her. But I stayed still. I'd already let her go long ago. This was just the paperwork. When she finally left, I looked at her empty chair. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, just distance, the quiet kind that comes when something once powerful finally burns out. By noon, the team gathered for the weekly briefing. Numbers climbed, projects closed, investors smiled. The company was thriving, and I was at the helm. Mr. Cole clapped me on the shoulder. You've done well, son, truly, I smiled faintly. Thanks. But when the applause faded and the lights dimmed, I felt it. That small, hollow ache beneath the success. Karma had done its work. But healing, it seemed, had its own pace. It was a quiet Sunday when my phone rang. Mom's name flashed on the screen. James, she said softly. There's someone here to see you. My gut tightened. Who? She hesitated. Emma. For a second, I didn't breathe. What is she doing there? She said she just wants to talk. She looks tired. I rubbed my temples. Mom, you shouldn't have let her in. I couldn't turn her away, honey. You should come. I almost said no. But something in her voice made me pause, a mix of concern and pity. Against all logic, I drove there. When I pulled up, Emma was standing by the porch, hands clasped, eyes hollow. She looked smaller than I remembered, like life had quietly drained the arrogance out of her. She turned when I stepped out. Hi, James, I folded my arms. Why here? I didn't know where else to go, she said quietly. I knew you wouldn't answer my calls. You're right, I replied. She gave a weak smile. Your mom was kind enough to listen. She always was, I said. What do you want, Emma? Her eyes met mine. Closure? I laughed under my breath. You had that the day you walked away. She shook her head. No, you moved on. I didn't. I thought I could bury it. The guilt, the regret, but it follows me everywhere. I stared at her. That's not my burden anymore. I know, she whispered. But I needed to tell you something. I stayed silent, waiting. She took a shaky breath. Ryan left me months ago, said I was a mistake. I lost everything trying to prove something to him, to myself. But the truth is, I ruined the only real thing I ever had. Her voice cracked at the last word. I swallowed hard. You think saying that makes it better? No, she said quickly. It doesn't. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just need you to know that I finally understand what I threw away. Her honesty cut deeper than her betrayal ever did. I took a slow breath. Emma, I'm not angry anymore. I stopped being angry the day I realized you can't hate someone you've outgrown. Tears welled in her eyes. Then why does it still hurt when I see you? Because guilt doesn't fade when love dies, I said quietly. It just changes shape. She nodded, crying silently. I wish you happiness, James. You deserve it. For the first time in years, I felt something close to peace. Not love, not longing, just acceptance. I hope you heal, I said gently. But I've already forgiven you, not for you, for me. Her lips trembled. Thank you. As she turned to leave, I watched her walk down the path, not as the woman who broke me, but as someone finally broken enough to understand, and for once, I didn't feel the need to look back. I stared at my reflection in the glass wall of my office, the skyline stretching behind me like a reminder of everything I'd fought for. Mr. Cole's voice echoed in my memory. Power changes people, James. The trick is not letting it define you. He was right. Somewhere between the sleepless nights and ruthless meetings, I had changed. My assistant knocked. Sir, the quarterly numbers just came in. Profits are up 20%, I nodded. Good work, Sarah. Give the team a day off. She blinked. Really? Yeah, I said with a faint smile. They've earned it. When she left, silence settled in again. I loosened my tie, staring at the city below, the same streets where I used to walk home after long shifts, texting Emma about stupid little things. Funny how simple life felt before it all shattered. Mom called right then. "I saw your interview on TV," she said proudly. "Your father would have been so proud." "Thanks, Mom," I replied softly. "You sound tired," she noted. "I'm just thinking," I said. "About her?" I hesitated. "About everything," she sighed. "You've come so far, James. Don't let the past steal your peace." "I won't," I promised. After we hung up, I leaned back in my chair. Her words stayed with me. Peace. It wasn't something I'd chased before. I'd chased success, revenge, redemption, but never peace. I remembered the day I first found out about Emma and Ryan. The disbelief, the rage, the emptiness. I thought getting even would fix it. I thought success would fill the void. But all it did was silence the noise, not heal the wound. I looked at my reflection again. "You're not the same man anymore," I murmured. And it was true. The naive dreamer who once believed love could survive anything was gone. In his place stood someone sharper, quieter, harder to hurt, but also harder to reach. The elevator chimed outside my office. A cleaner stepped in to empty the trash. "Long night, sir?" she asked kindly. "Long life," I replied with a faint smirk. She chuckled. "At least you're smiling." "Yeah," I said. "I guess I finally learned how." When she left, I turned off the lights and stood by the window once more. The city glowed beneath me, alive and indifferent. I whispered to myself, "Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom." And for the first time in years, I actually believed it. When my assistant walked in with a file, I barely looked up. "Another client proposal?" I asked. "Not just any," she said, hesitating. "It's from Hartwell Consulting." My pen froze midair. "Hartwell?" She nodded. "Their representative requested a meeting with you personally. I didn't need to ask who it was." "Set it up," I said evenly. The next afternoon, Emma walked into my office. Same brown eyes, but dimmer, tired. Her once confident posture was gone. She clutched a thin folder like it was armor. "James," she breathed. "Ms. Hayes," I replied calmly. "Please, have a seat." She blinked, clearly stung by the formality. "I didn't expect you to agree to meet." "I don't mix emotion with business," I said. "You're here for a contract. Let's talk about it," she swallowed. "Our firm is struggling. We need this deal to stay afloat." "I know how that sounds, but it sounds like business," I interrupted. "Continue," her voice trembled. "We're offering marketing support for your new subsidiary. I believe we can you?" I leaned forward slightly. "Because the last time you worked under me, results were complicated." She flinched. "I deserve that." "I didn't say it to hurt you," I said, keeping my tone measured. "Just facts." There was a pause, thick, silent, filled with ghosts of words we never said years ago. She finally whispered, "You've changed." "I had to," I replied. "You made sure of it," her eyes glistened. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want to be seen as someone trying to rebuild." I studied her. For a moment, the old ache surfaced, faint, distant, like an echo fading into the horizon. "Rebuilding is good," I said softly. "But understand this. I won't hand you a rope just because I once cared." She nodded, tears threatening to fall. "I know, and I don't expect it." I signed the document in front of me and slid it across the table. "You'll get a fair chance. Nothing more, nothing less," her lip quivered. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," I said, standing. "Thank the part of me that still believes in professionalism." She rose slowly, clutching the folder to her chest. "Goodbye, James." "Goodbye, Emma." When the door closed behind her, I stared at the city skyline again. I didn't ruin her life, I thought quietly. She did that herself. I just learned how to run mine better.